Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com, bringing you a special video today. This is my 200th episode. That's right, I've been at this for a little over 5 years now. This is the 200th time I put a video out for you. And pretty excited about that. It's pretty neat, I think. This one is a sulphur pattern, a nymph pattern. And again, I was requested to do a fly featuring lively legs. And for sulphur, which will be coming up here soon, it's January, you know, that's the first big hatch we look for in our area. You get all excited about it because it's a big one in our area. So, pretty easy fly. We're tying this on Hannock jig hooks, on the competition jig hooks, the 400 BLs in a size 14. We are using a tungsten bead in a 7/64. This is a copper bead, and I think it blends real well with you get the tungsten bead to give it weight, and it also blends real well with the color of the body. We're going to see, you can see it has a lighter belly and a darker back, just like the real bug. We're going to use that with some peacock, and we're going to feature some of Jack's Electric wool dubbing. This one is the butterscotch. This is a really good color for the sulphur, so we're going to feature some of that in this video. Let's get into tying it now. Like I said, we're using the size 14 400 BL Hannock hook and a tungsten slotted bead. And the comment, I'm sure, will be made about using a slotted bead and tying it the regular way. And I'll give you the same thing that I hear on the perdigons. If you ever drop a bug in the water, say you're rolling over rocks, pick a nymph up off the bottom of the rocks, throw it down in the water. That bug rolls constantly through the water. It's turning upside down and right side up as it goes down through the water column. Your fly is going to be doing the same thing. Your fly is going to be circling and tumbling through the water. So it doesn't really matter which way. It's going to get down there and do its job. That's all that really matters. We're going to use some wood duck 170 denier thread. I'm going to cover the hook shank up so that the lively legs will tie down a little better. Lively legs, you can see I'm using a yellow, size small, 14 to 12s, which we're only going to use the front two, like normally do. And we're going to trim off, I'm going to trim off real short, okay? You saw how close I trimmed to the front there? I'm going to trim that close to the back. This fly is not a big fly. It's a size 14, but with these legs on it here, these legs will take up a lot of room. And actually, I'll steal a picture off the internet here now and show you. This, as you see here, is a picture of a real live sulphur nymph, okay? You can see how the abdomen is a lot smaller than the thorax on it. So we're actually recreating pretty closely by having these big legs and the short little abdomen on the back. We'll get a pretty good match with it, so we're going to go with it. Now, the hardest part about this fly, because they're so small, is getting these legs to stay on top and not twist around on you. So you got to loose loop it and then pull them down tight, and then give it a couple wraps once you get them on there, and kind of tease them into the place where you want them. Okay, and it always, this outside one here always gives me problems. I always just kind of let it go until towards the end, and then I pull it back in place where I need it. Next thing I'm going to put on is some small gold wire, ultra wire. And you can use bigger if that's all you have, doesn't matter. And you can even change the colors up if you want a little bit on it. I think the gold blends well with it, gives you just enough of an offset that you can tell. So I'm going to wrap that on, and like I normally like to do, I like to hold it underneath and pull it up in. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap that up right there to the legs. And then we're going to, for a tail, I'm going to use a pheasant tail. And for the pheasant tail, I'm going to use a dyed yellow one, okay? This one's a really nice bright yellow color. I really like this. It's a little bit brighter than the natural. I'm going to take about 6 or so fibers off of it. Just trim them off with my scissors. And then I'm going to get the points all tied up there the same. And then we're going to put this on for the tail. Now, if you buy flies from the Lively Legz guys or watch their videos, they are very long on their tails. A lot longer than I like to be. But they catch fish on them, so I'm not knocking them for it. They catch a lot of fish on their flies. But I like to go with a tail about that long. You know, just the size of the fly at the most. And then I'm going to back this up and tie this back over. And then just kind of try to even out the abdomen section here. And then we're going to wrap some dubbing on. For dubbing, we're using the Butterscotch electric wool. This is from Living the Nymph. We carry it in the shop. Great stuff. I can't wait to get a hold of his new wool called Naked Wool. But, man, we're selling a lot of this stuff. It's great. One reason I like this stuff a lot is on a small fly like this, it's a very fine dubbing, and it dubs like a ultra fine or something like that. A really nice, fine, tight dubbing. And I got a little bit too much on there, and that's fine. I'll come back and pull it off whenever I see where I need it to go. And it pulls off pretty easy. So we're just going to dub this up here, keeping it nice and tight, trying not to build up too much. As we build up, remember that profile of the live one that I showed you. Okay, now once I got it up there, I see how much I need. I'm going to pull off what I don't. And then what I'll do is I'll take a wrap back, tighten up this thread, or tighten up my dubbing, and then I'll come back and wrap this in and finish it up with the length that I needed. Okay, now I actually a lot of times tend to go, because of the size of this fly, I will put a wrap or so in front of these legs. Okay. Now I'm going to pull my pheasant tail up over, and what this is going to do simply is to give it an offsetting color. You have the nice sulphur color on the bottom and a little bit darker on the top, just like the natural bug. Then I'm going to rib it with my gold rib. I'm going to pull this pretty tight here to give the effect of the rib and to tighten up my abdomen. They have a pretty small abdomen to them. So, and again, I'm actually going to finish this, because it's such a small fly, I tend to finish it between the two legs. If it was a bigger fly, I would finish it behind those legs. Okay, now that I got this tied down tight, just going to helicopter that off. Now we're going to pull our remaining pheasant tail back. And this part here I'm adding is optional. I'm going to add a little bit of crystal flash to it. Just a couple strands of crystal flash. You do not have to do this. I just like to do it. It scratches my flashy itch. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap a couple in there, pull it back. And I put this, it'll actually go under. Okay, now I'm wrapping behind there, so I do my thorax, behind the legs. But I wrap this, and this will go on top of the pheasant tail, so when I pull it under, when you pull this under, the flash is under the pheasant tail, and just a couple fibers will show through, and it'll give you a flashy effect. So we're going to come back in with a little bit more of our dubbing, and it's going to take very little, because you can see how much I've built up there already with the pheasant tail and the legs and stuff. I already built that up pretty thick, so it doesn't take a lot of dubbing to finish building it up. The area, I'm going to actually go pretty thin back here behind the legs, just enough to cover it up and to smooth out that color. And then where I'm going to build up most of my dubbing is up here behind the bead, because that's where I haven't built up with thread as much. Okay, then Just crisscrossing this as we always do with our Lively Legz and Hemingway Legz here. Just crisscross this up to the front. Then once I get it up here right behind the bead, I'm going to take all of this, the crystal flash and the pheasant tail fibers, and I pull it up right behind that bead. And like I said, I'm pulling this and keeping it centered in the middle of the fly, in between those two legs. And I pull her down tight and make about 2 or 3 wraps there. Each one just a hair tighter. Know your limits so you don't bust your thread. And then we'll just trim that off, and then we're going to whip finish it to finish up the fly. So, okay. Once we get this all whip finished, then I'm going to put just a little shell back on here with some UV clear, actually thick, clear fly finish in the thick kind. And just build a nice little shell back. You can see there that just a little bit of that crystal flash shows through. It gives you just a nice little touch of flash, and it's not overbearing, it's not all flash, but you're going to get a little bit of reflection off of the light there. So let's hit this here, a little UV glue, and make this nice and smooth. And what we don't want to do is build up a lot, okay? This isn't building a big hump. It's more protecting your pheasant tail fibers and making it nice and smooth. Okay, once we got that, I like to, before I put my brush away and get my light out, I like to turn it upside down. If you don't have a rotary vise, that's fine. And we'll just hit it with the light, and it's all done. That's all that's to it. So there is a nice sulfur, Lively Legz sulfur pattern. Give that one a try. I'm sure it'll catch fish for you. And like I said earlier in the video, this was a really special video to me because it's my 200th episode. I want to thank everybody for watching my videos all these years and supporting me and encouraging me to keep going and all that you guys do for me. So thank you very much for watching my videos and being an active participant in them. I'm going to have a drawing on YouTube, on Instagram. So if you're not an Instagram follower, get on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting soon. We're going to do a fly giveaway on there because at the same time I got 200 YouTube followers, 200 YouTube videos, I also hit 1,000 I hit 1,000 Instagram followers. So it's kind of a big week this week for me. So get on Instagram. We're going to have a drawing on there, and we're probably going to do a couple more of those here in the near future. Going to team up with some different companies and stuff and give some stuff away from the shop. So thanks everybody for watching. I love bringing these to you, and don't be afraid to shout me a message if you have something you want to see or something like that. I'll be happy to sit down and see what I can come up with for you. So please take the time to subscribe to my channel, like us on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and don't be a stranger. Don't forget to say hi to me if you're ever out at any of the shows I'm at. So thanks for watching everybody. I'm Sean Holsinger.